Gentlemen, Antonio here. Today I'm going to talk about the 7 style laws that every man should know. Now, many of you guys are probably wondering, Antonio, what's the difference between a law and a rule? Now, style rules, those are going to be more specific. Some of them are going to become outdated. Some of them just aren't going to make sense anymore. So no brown in town. That's an example of a style rule. A style law, it's going to be timeless. It is something that you will be able to dress yourself in any situation. 20 years now, you'll be able to help your son dress better. 50 years from now, you'll be able to use these laws to help your grandson, though it will be something that will not change. So if you know the laws, gentlemen, you can walk through life and rest assured that you know how to dress sharp in pretty much any situation. Now, I do want to point out in this video, I'm going to quickly go over these 7 laws. If you want more, go check out the free course I've put together for you. Now, this course is going to go into a lot more detail. It's got actually, a bit interaction with it, a lot of video in this course. Guys, this was part of my personal image system. I decided to make the first chapter in my personal image system completely free. And as you guys can see, I'm going to do a lot of detail there. I really explain each of the concepts. It is free, so you can go sign up for it right here. Okay, so the first style law I want to talk about is the timeless style equation. That's equal to TS, basically, is equal to fit times function times fabric. And I'll explain how each of this works. So whenever you are dressing sharp, understand that the fit, the function, and the fabric, and what I mean by that is the quality of the clothing, the way it's put together, all has an effect on the overall presentation. You cannot have one of those. So the way the equation is set up, if you have a 0, if you score really bad in one of those areas, it's going to bring down the whole score. So if you can imagine it, 10s being across. A perfect score is 1,000. 10 times 10 times 10. However, if you were to get a 10, like let's say it is a great fit, it functions perfectly, another 10, but the overall quality and the build of it is horrible. It's a 1. Notice how your score has dropped significantly. 100 versus, literally 1/10 of the value. So that just goes to show how in style, it's not like a one-legged stool. You need all 3 legs of the stool, and you need to focus on each of them. So a lot of men, and the reason I go into this is they maybe focus on one thing. They buy expensive clothing. They maybe buy the right clothing, but they don't focus in on fit. So because they don't focus in on fit, the overall value of their timeless style drops significantly. My point of this law is you need to pay attention to all 3 to truly have timeless style. Next, let's talk about the style law of fit. So this one, basically, I wanted to take those 3 parts we just talked about, fit, function, and fabric, and point out if you have to make a decision, because people are always having to compromise. They're always having to say, well, Antonio, which one should I focus in on? Focus in on the fit first, then focus in on the function, and then focus in on the quality of the fabric. Because I don't want you to go out there and buy a super expensive suit and not focus in on the fit. No, first buy inexpensive suits, then start to upgrade the fabric. Make sense? Number 3, we have the style theory of value. And this is V is equal to W times F over P. Now let me explain how this works. A lot of people think that value is equal to price. This is not true. You can buy something very inexpensively, never wear it, and it technically can become one of the most expensive items that you never really got any use out of. It was a complete waste of money. Instead, think of it like the value is actually equal to the number of wears times how it makes you feel divided by the price that you paid. Does that make sense? So if you can find something that you literally wear the heck out of and you love it every time you wear it because it makes you feel great, that the price, when you divide it, it actually has a much larger number than, let's say, a suit that you got very inexpensively, you only wore once, and all of a sudden it never made you feel great. So even though you paid a lot less for that suit, its true value is very low. Number 4, style law of interchangeability. You guys have probably heard me talk about this one before, but it deserves me to bring it up again. So let's say if you've got 4 shoes, 4 shirts, 4 jackets, and 4 pairs of trousers, and they all match each other. How many total outfits do you have? Some people may say, oh, well, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, oh, it's 16. No, it's 256 complete outfits. Now, we're only, changing small things, but the key point is if it's a truly interchangeable wardrobe you build, you can actually get a huge number of outfits by focusing on interchangeability. Number 5, the style theory of constraints. So there are two things I've discovered that hold men back on trying to build a wardrobe. Number 1 is money. Number 2 is time. And most men are going to fall in one of the 4 quadrants. They either have a limitation of time, limitation of money, limitation of both, or they've got plenty of both. Depending on where you fall in this quadrant, you're going to need to focus in on certain things. So let's say that you have a lot of time and you've got a lot of money. Lucky you. In this case, though, you need to be careful of not wasting your money, and you need to be building your core wardrobe. Now, let's say you're the complete opposite. You are a law student and you've got a family of 4. You have no time, you have no money. In your case, you're going to really have to get creative to find a way to build that wardrobe. Let's say that you've got plenty of time, but you don't have much money. In this case, you need to be going to thrift stores. Now, let's say that you've got plenty of money and you really don't have any time. Some of you consultants, successful lawyers, in this case, you want to hire a clothier. You want to use one of those box services to save you time. Number 6, the 80-20 principle of style. My point here, and some of you guys may be familiar with the Pareto principle, is that oftentimes people focus in on things which add no value. I get tons of questions all the time, and these guys are focused in on aspects of style that really have a it's going to take them quite a bit of time, and it's going to yield like a less than a 1% improvement in their overall style. Focus in on the fit of your clothing. If you do not know the name of your tailor, if you're not taking your casual clothing to get adjusted, guys, you are missing one of the key components. And before you worry about, okay, does this shirt exactly match, these trousers, or should I go with maybe a slightly lighter shade? Focus in on actually, does your clothing fit you? Taking the clothing you have and getting it adjusted. So guys, again, focus in on where you're going to get the big returns. Finally, we've got the style law of inertia. So I break men into 5 areas of where they're really at in their style journey. And depending on where you're at in that style journey, you're going to need different ways of help, motivation, and you're going to want to be thinking about different things. So initially, we've got the beginner. You are at ground zero. So in this case, you want to be out there looking for information. You should be looking at maybe a course, buy a book, a physical book that you've got, subscribe to a magazine list, get on somebody's email list that you enjoy. My buddy, Baron at the Effortless Jet, Aaron Marino. For some reason you don't like me, go find someone that inspires you. But get started. Next up is my favorite one, the Lance Corporal. So if you're at the Lance Corporal point, this is a really tough point because you feel like, oh man, I'm putting in all this effort, I'm seeing very little return, but you want to keep going because you're right there, right before we get to the apprentice level. The apprentice level is at the tip of, basically he's at the top of the hill, and all of a sudden you can see what's in front of you. You can see all the opportunity, and now you just need to start jogging. You need to start moving. It's getting easier. You are starting to see results. Next, we've got the journeyman. The journeyman is starting to go down the hill. He's getting compliments. He's feeling good. He realizes how little he does actually know and how far he has to go, but he's feeling great about it. He's actually running. Things are lighter. It's a lot better than when he was the Lance Corporal. And finally, we've got the expert. Now, the expert's interesting because even though he's ahead of most, he's ahead of 90% of men, he still has a lot to learn. Because if I were to, bring in Star Wars, if you guys know, to be able to go from a Jedi Knight to a Master Jedi, you need to be able to teach others. And this is what I really encourage experts in my community to find other men around them that they can mentor. All right, gentlemen, that's it. Remember, you can go get the course entirely for free right over here. Just click here, send you right to it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I would love to hear from you guys the style rules that you think are not very good, are stupid, or ones that maybe you think are pretty darn good. I love hearing, learning from different style rules. I'm putting together a fun little book on it. Gentlemen, that's it. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.